So great, Corey. Thank you very much for taking the time to join this call. So we'll get started. So if you could please introduce yourself, your role, and your day-to-day responsibilities, activities you do. Right, we can get started there.
Sure. Yep. My name's Corey Johnson. I work at Aurora Parts, and I'm the ICQA manager for the Reno facility. On a typical day, most days really, I'm just working on the product within the four walls of the facility and making sure that it has integrity and it's accurate and it's in good condition.
Okay. Sorry, what does ICQA stand for? No, QA is some kind of a quality audit. What does IC for?
Yep. Yeah, inventory control and quality assurance.
Great, great. Okay, inventory control and quality assurance. Okay, great, great. And if you could talk about Aurora Parts, what do you guys do?
Yeah, so Aurora Parts is one of the largest trailer parts distributors in North America. We have 5 different facilities in North America.
Okay.
One of them for the West Coast is in Reno,
Okay.
which is where I'm located.
Great.
But we have essentially anything and everything to fix or repair long trailers
Okay.
outside of actual tires.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So
So,
a lot of large parts, heavy parts,
huh?
awkward parts. So anything from the nose to the tail of the trailer.
So that could be even in scenarios where some trailer is, in a repair shop sitting there for, a serious, part, time sensitive, project that needs to be completed, and you guys may have to ship quickly parts to that shop or, whatever to get that trailer fixed as quickly as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. We even have customer pickups every once in a while. So when the customers really need their parts, they will come straight to our facility and get the components that they need.
Great, great. Okay, great. I think I've heard will calls before. They'll call
Yep.
and then come and pick it up. Okay, great. And see, we also have another major customer for us is Komatsu, and they do have a lot of these parts that are shipped and they document using LoadProof, and they ship to a lot of these construction sites, right? Because
Okay.
that's where the Komatsu equipment is based. So sometimes it could be. It could. Is this a possible scenario where a trailer is stuck somewhere in a freeway or something, having a pretty sensitive load that they have to deliver by certain date and time? They could even order a part from you. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, I mean, we probably wouldn't deliver it on the side of the road,
Yeah.
but their
Yeah.
company can order it and we'll get it to their company and they can figure out the rest from there.
Okay, very interesting. No, parts are pretty. It's a very sensitive business, right? They gotta
Yeah,
ship sometimes it's a very minute part. It's crucial, and people often don't realize, the part number. They might get the part number wrong. Things like that. So you got to really make sure the order is accurate and ship the right part to the right address, and make sure they get it.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, great. Okay, all right. So what was the exact problem that you were trying to solve?
Um, at the beginning, so this started right before I started with Aurora Parts, but
Okay.
for a long time, the communications with trailers heading out of the facility, in the condition and the integrity that they were loaded with, and making sure that the components were in good shape. Um, in the industry that we're in, we have a lot of awkward components. Some of it can be 53 feet long.
Okay.
Some of it could be a little bolt.
Huh.
But with that, it makes it very difficult to load the trailers that
Yep.
we're loading
Yep.
in an effective manner, and at the same time keeping the product's integrity um, thorough until it reaches the customer.
Yeah.
So our biggest challenge was that essentially getting the product from our facility to the customer's facility in good condition. And the reason that we resorted to LoadProof is because it allowed us to provide pictures and documentation of how the product is leaving our facility. So there wasn't this big black hole or gray area of, well, did it happen in our hands or in the customer's hands or even possibly in the carrier's hands?
Great. So when you say product integrity, what does that mean? Is that it could be a product that has to be absolutely. Obviously the product has to be delivered without damages, right? That is one thing, and
Yeah, damages.
Uh-huh.
That's a
Yeah.
big one.
Yeah.
We do some tote tracking, so making sure that all the components for the orders were actually loaded on that trailer. And something unique about some of the stuff that we ship is we'll load multiple stops on one trailer.
Okay.
And that proposes a problem because by the time it leaves our facility and gets to the end customer, it's probably been to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 docks where other components have been unloaded
Yeah.
For other customers.
Yeah.
So that last customer, there's a chance that something has happened by all those touches from the trailer. So what LoadProof has allowed us to do
Yep.
is track the condition of the load by the time it leaves our facility.
Yep.
And then if there are any claims or concerns on the customer's end,
Yep.
we have documentation to help support and help reconcile what has happened.
Got it. So when you guys make those deliveries, is that your own fleet of trucks or is it somebody else's trucks?
No, they're not our fleet.
Okay.
It's third-party fleets.
Okay.
So it's kind of out of our hands once it leaves our dock. So that's why the documentation of the condition and what was loaded and everything is so crucial to what we do.
So what happens if someone, picks up the wrong tote? I mean, obviously it's a last in, first out loading process, right? You got to, they go to stop one and then they, that's placed at the end of the truck. So they got to, deliver that first and then stop 2, stop 3, stop 4. I mean, is there a possibility that they could pick the wrong tote at the wrong stop, something like that?
Yeah, there's always a possibility for anything like that.
Yeah.
So again, that's why LoadProof has been successful for us in helping us just track what has left the facility and what condition it was in.
Yeah.
To ensure that each customer gets what they ordered accurately and in good condition.
Got it. And but once the fleet of trucks or the truck is complete third party, you guys don't have any control over that once the truck leaves your facility. Correct?
No, we don't.
And also it could be is it the customer driven process? Is the customer paying for transportation, or you guys pay for transportation yourself?
Yeah, that's another huge aspect of it. A lot of the times we are paying for the transportation.
Okay, got it.
So when we can't fit everything in a trailer and we need multiple trailers, that's our cost.
Yeah.
And even when we have to bring trailers back, maybe it's load quality or any other issues, we can eat the cost for that stuff. So it's a huge benefit being able to know the quality of our trailers when they left. And sometimes you don't get the claim till days, weeks, and maybe even a month later. So.
Okay, and who submits the claim? Is that your customer that ordered the part? They're the ones that are submitting the claim because they didn't receive the exact part number they ordered?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
So any issues that the customer has with the product, whether it's the quality of the product or the count or the wrong product, yeah, they would file a claim. And then that's probably where we use LoadProof the most, is looking at the data, the load time, the condition that it left, so that we can resolve the claims and really figure out what happened to make our operation better.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, there has been claims where something happened between our dock and the customer's dock, that big black hole that we don't know what happens, right?
Yeah.
And having LoadProof has helped us identify situations where it was neither person's fault, it was somebody in the middle.
Oh, okay. Could you talk about an example, please? So what happened? So it's like you guys loaded everything perfectly in the truck. So stop 1, stop 2, stop 3, stop 4, stop 5. So they went. The truck left your facility, and then what happened? If you could please talk through what confusion.
Yeah.
What was the confusion that happened at the time? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good example when there was multiple stops. One of the first stops accidentally pulled off an extra pallet.
Yeah.
So obviously it didn't get to the customer.
Yeah.
We were able to provide the documentation that it was loaded and everything. And obviously from there, we worked with our customer service team and reached out to the customer that made the mistake so that we could get it back on another trailer and over to the proper customer. I think another really good example is we had brake pads and a huge pallet of brake pads. And when it left our facility, it was in good condition.
Okay.
But by the time it got to the customer's complaint was the pallet was not in good condition. Half of it's fallen over. Some of the product was damaged,
Yep.
and of course, they wanted to reconcile that.
Yep.
So when we looked at our pictures and our documentation through LoadProof, we were able to provide the status of the pallet when it left our facility.
Yeah.
And with that, you can clearly tell that things changed from the point it left our facility to the point that it got to the other facility.
Yeah.
Some of the products that we have require strapping or decking within the trailer.
Yep.
For obviously safety and integrity with the trailer, but I know when things go through other places and they're solely looking to grab one item or one pallet or what have you,
Correct.
they'll do what they need to do to get it.
Correct.
They don't always think about the next stop because that's not part of their day-to-day.
Correct.
But yeah, LoadProof has been able to really support us and support our customers with those type of situations.
So is it just the driver that's doing it, or the driver's job is to, deliver the truck to the dock, and then the personnel from that customer come in and grab the pallets that are destined for them?
Yeah, I haven't been to our actual customers' facilities to see how that end process goes, but
Okay.
through communications, it kind of varies. Obviously, there's time constraints, there's dock constraints. Some of our customers don't even have a proper dock to unload stuff. So the way that we have to load needs to be kind of specific towards them. And when we do have those situations, obviously we try and work with them, but I'm aware of sometimes the drivers try and help. Sometimes it's the customers, the customer's team. Yeah, I mean, in this industry, anybody can kind of unload it if they're told to. So
Yeah.
the documentation part is so important to make sure that this stuff gets done properly and gets to where it's supposed to go properly.
Got it. So is that so for each pallet, or the number of pallets that need to be downloaded in each stop, right? Do you guys have a way for them to identify, hey, this is for stop 2, and then 3 pallets, 1 of 2, 1 of 3, 2 of 3, 3 of 3, like that, so it's easy for them to identify? And also, is there any documentation that goes along with that, like a packing slip or a bill of master bill of lading and things like that?
Yeah, all of the above. We have tote IDs essentially, so every pallet will have its own ID, and that ID is specific to the customer that it's going to.
Yeah.
So it'll have their name on it, what stop number they are. Along with that, yes, we do have pack slips that get to the customer, and
Correct.
also, of course, the BOL. But again, mistakes happen.
Yes.
And that's what LoadProof helps us identify.
Exactly.
Is when mistakes.
Exactly. See, just another question. So when you say tote, right? Tote is basically a tray type of thing, correct? And you're also using pallet. So is that it could be pallet or tote, or it could be both? Is that how the process is today?
Yeah. So something it might be a little more specific to Aurora, but again, our product profile is so large. I mean, we sell subframes for trailers.
Yeah.
Some of the product we have is 4,000, 5,000 pounds.
Wow.
Some of it is, again, it's a nut. This is some product right here, just a nut.
That's a simple fastener. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's nothing special, but again, some things are very, very large. We require special equipment to load the trailers. Sometimes it's long, it's awkward. You can't always set the trailer up and cube the trailer out as you want to.
Correct.
Just because the way the product kind of drives it, right? So yeah, we document everything that we put on the trailer.
Yeah.
And when we refer to tote, generally it's a pallet.
Yeah.
It's about a pallet.
Got it. So technically, it's all pallets is that's being transported to the customer side. I mean, obviously, you'll have this odd size 5,000 pound frame, right? That is always there. Okay. Got it. Okay. I mean, it just understands, the every, what do you call, the product configuration is different. I mean, we deal with a lot of these pallets, which are, 4x4 and, 5 feet tall, 6 feet tall. That's all easy to handle. So you guys have this unique challenges where, when you are obviously, right? I mean, trying to, support a trailer, and that has all kinds of, parts, and it's a 80-foot trailer, whatever, 40-foot box truck, all those things. So you might have some specific, sophisticated frames that support the whole structure of the trailer, right? That could be long and pretty heavy and stuff like that. Very interesting.
A lot of the product for safety reasons and obviously integrity of the product, we have to strap it to the wall to make sure that it doesn't move. Some of it needs to be laid out long ways on the floor. But yeah, there's a lot of opportunity for issues to happen. And that's where LoadProof comes in, and it helps us identify those
Yeah,
and fix them as quickly as possible. But more importantly, it helps us track what we've done when it comes to such a manual process.
exactly, exactly. And how did you guys find? I mean, see, this is just another thing in the food industry. There is, there is another, supply chain partner, or the, a person called lumpers. And sometimes, it gets
Yep.
really complex. They're
Yep.
also, there could be unionized, and they are allowed to unload the product. In food industries, that's common. Do you guys have folks like that also, or do you have to deal with lumpers as well?
No, we don't utilize a lumper program,
Okay.
but our team members are all engaged with helping load in house.
Got it, got it, got it. Okay, so how did you guys, find out about LoadProof, and you thought, hey, you know what, hey, this is a challenge, and there got to be a better way to do this, and when did you guys start searching for something like LoadProof, and then found it, and how exactly that happened?
Sure. So myself and my manager, we both started in Q3 of 2024,
Okay,
and we both come from different companies, but he used LoadProof at his previous employer.
okay,
So he was already very familiar with it. I'm not sure how he heard of it or started to use it, but he was already using it for a couple years. So when we both got to this um, company, we obviously jumped on the bandwagon to utilize LoadProof. So when I started, it was really in its infancy. So they were only using it for a couple weeks. And now we've mainly used it for our outbound loads.
yeah,
But as of 2 weeks from now, we'll be using it on our inbound loads as well to help, again, with the same things, integrity. A big thing for our inbound will be our paperwork documentation.
yeah,
So we'll be able to quickly take a picture of the documentation that we signed for.
yep,
And then after we finish our process of unloading and receiving, we will have basically an update that we could get loaded up into LoadProof. And again, it's all about tracking
yeah.
and documenting.
Correct, correct. And what are the attributes that you're looking for? So you mentioned the documentation, right? Packing slip for the inbound loads. Is it are you guys doing any type of inbound quality audit or anything like that for the product that's coming in? And is it coming from overseas or Mexico, China, anything like that?
Yeah, so we're gonna be in full testing mode in the next 2 weeks, or
Okay,
through the next 2 weeks,
okay,
as this week kind of comes to a close. But initially, it's going to start with the paperwork process, and
yep,
if there's any red flags, so if a trailer comes in with damaged product or there's visibly an issue,
yeah,
we could snap some pictures and track that.
yep,
But yeah, the paperwork is going to be a big part for us, and having the pictures of the paperwork. So then we're never fumbling around with BOLs and pack slips when it comes to a months or weeks later. We can just go into LoadProof, type in our purchase order number,
yep,
and it'll pull right up, and we'll know everything that happened on the day of at that time.
yep.
So
Great, great. So okay, great. So what was life before LoadProof like?
yeah, well, as far as our inbound side, it's still, we haven't started the LoadProof, so
Correct,
it's a
correct. What
big
about
but.
yeah?
Um,
What about outbound? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, whenever there's an inquiry that we need to research, I mean, you're talking about going through hundreds of pieces of paper to find the proper documentation.
Yep,
Again, when it comes to just quality of the product,
yep,
we had a good example yesterday. We had some axles that came in and they were tipped over on the trailer.
yeah,
What we currently were doing was take a picture and send it out to everybody that has email.
yeah.
Um, and there's a lot of people that get very bombarded with emails,
Correct.
and they may not see it in time. So with
Correct.
LoadProof, it allows us to upload it
Yep,
and basically stage it in the parking lot.
yep,
And then when we go through our process of identifying what happened or what we need to do to get it resolved,
yep.
then we can kind of move it on. So.
So is that so? What do you mean by parking lot? Is it like a specific area within the facility to set it aside and wait for it, or which or
Well, I
you
think
yeah.
I think referring to LoadProof, right? A parking lot would be,
Oh,
but we
you're
can
parking the
continue to
loads in
add.
LoadProof. Yeah, yeah, you're parking the loads in LoadProof
Yeah.
before.
Yep.
Okay, got it. Okay, got it. Okay, okay.
Yep. So we can continue to document whatever the situation is, and then once it's complete and we've found resolution and we can move on with our other stuff, we could just upload it. So.
Great. So how is life after LoadProof like? I mean, before, it was like you probably spent a lot of hours, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I wasn't here really before we used LoadProof on outbound.
Yeah.
But what I can say is the gal that helps us with our claims, she's been able to increase her efficiency dramatically.
Yeah.
So with some of the products that we have, it's so obvious how something happened through LoadProof pictures, and obviously through the customer providing what they're seeing when it comes to claims.
Yeah.
And she's been able to increase her productivity because she can go straight to the PO or the SO, whatever documentation she has.
Yeah.
She could go straight to it in LoadProof, find all the pictures she needed.
Yeah.
It's got timestamps, so it allows us to track the history.
Yeah.
Of what happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's been able to speed up her process dramatically, and because of that, now she can use that extra time that she's been able to create to go work on other challenges that we have within the four walls.
So how does that typically work? Is it like a scenario where, hey, something was delivered damaged and the customer got it, they didn't realize, at the time of delivery, but now they're looking at it and then, oh my God, I got this axle, pretty sophisticated axle for a truck, and that's damaged, I cannot use it. You know what, I'm going to go back and submit a claim to Aurora Parts. Is that what happens?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. Anytime there's a claim, whether it's missing parts or maybe it's overage of parts, wrong parts, damaged parts.
Yeah.
Anything and everything.
Yeah.
We're documenting the product that leaves our facility is getting documented through LoadProof.
Correct.
And allows us to provide feedback to the customer, and it also allows the customer to provide us feedback.
Correct.
So that we can correct some things and make sure that the integrity is good when it gets to them.
Correct. So usually when that happens, the customer is submitting a claim and the claim hits the lady that's dealing with the claims today, and then she logs into LoadProof immediately and then pulls the photos and shares that with the customer. Yep. Is that what you guys do? So that's like, hey, you know what, man, we did our job right. It's all done perfectly. We don't know what exactly happened. Is that the conversation that happens from that point?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, whenever there's a claim, we do our due diligence to investigate to make sure that we did our part correctly.
Correct.
And if there's another problem, then we address it that way, right? So first and foremost, we ensure that it left this facility, whether it's our WMS system tracking what's happened.
Yep.
But if everything checks out and it says in our system that it got to the dock and it shipped, well, now we can utilize LoadProof to figure out what condition was it in when it shipped.
Correct.
And I mean, obviously, for her efficiency, that's a huge win. But obviously, with any big business, there's money involved, right?
Correct.
So it's allowed us to keep our claims lower. We've seen definitely an increase.
Correct.
A decrease in our claims, and then a resolution time much quicker. So
great. So is that a people realize that, hey, if I'm going to submit a claim that is not accurate or that I'm not 100% sure of, I'm going to get some photos from Aurora Parts. Is that what the realization that led to a reduction in the number of claims that are being submitted?
Well, I think that's part of it. Maybe I think a larger part is we've been able to coach our team.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Through each claim, as we identify an issue, we've been able to kind of get together as upper management and figure out a solution to make sure that type of stuff doesn't happen so often. And with that, we have pictures and evidence and ways that we can coach the team to ensure that nothing leaves the facility in bad condition or wrong condition.
So you're learning from the process. I mean, for whatever,
Oh, yeah.
It's maybe the packaging was not as tight and thick or as
Right.
what do you call padded as we would like, like a axle and things like that, right? It might require some extra dunnage or extra packing or something like that. Maybe that was not as
Right.
tight, and you guys are learning from it, and you guys are improving the packaging or the way that gets loaded or strapping that to the trailer and stuff like that.
Absolutely, yeah. A big one is we have a lot of aluminum products,
Yeah.
and if you get a sharp edge on aluminum, it'll just scrape anything that's by it, right?
Uh-huh.
So just protect, just helping protect all components of the order
Yeah.
that we're shipping, and making sure that it's just in good condition when it leaves.
Yeah.
And there's not a potential for something to mistakenly happen.
Yeah. 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 Great. Great. Great.
So
Fantastic. So it's like a training tool as well. It's like, hey, you know what, guys,
Yep.
if we are going to get this type of claim, we got to improve our packaging, we got to improve our loading, we got to improve our strapping, whatever it takes to make sure, the product integrity is perfect, by the time the customer
Absolutely.
gets it. Great, great,
Yeah,
great, great.
absolutely.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, what are some of the key benefits? I mean, especially if you could please talk about, hey, we didn't anticipate this one, being a benefit, and that has changed, the team morale or performance and things like that.
Yeah, performance, absolutely. Performance is huge. Obviously, there's time constraints on everything.
Yeah,
We have a lot to do every day, and getting it done. The fact that we could take a picture and then kind of move on and
Yeah.
know that it's done, and we don't have to second guess it, because we have our loaders actually take the picture. So they're essentially, we also use LoadProof as a way to just track accountability as well.
yeah,
So we know exactly who touched it based off of who's uploading the pictures.
yeah,
Which is really good, because then when it does come time to provide coaching, we can go over that with them. As far as our claims team, we've been able to obviously increase their productivity rate and get them going. So that's a huge quality of life for them,
yeah,
that they don't get bogged down wondering what happened when the product got on the trailer. There's pictures to provide that,
yeah,
right? I'm excited for when we start implementing it on the inbound side, because the quality of life for those guys will dramatically increase,
yeah,
because now every time we finish unloading something or whatnot, they could take a picture and we can kind of move on, and we will have a snapshot in time of the quality of that order. And then when it's complete, we'll have a timestamp of essentially when it was completed that'll match up with our WMS. But more importantly, it's going to help provide accountability, right?
yeah,
Whether the supervisors or managers are signing off on it, they upload it into the system.
yep,
Now we have that.
yep,
So on the back end of that, if we ever have an issue with one of our vendors or whatnot, now we have documentation,
Yep,
right? Proper
yep.
documentation, and we
Yep.
don't have to go through hundreds and hundreds of pieces of paper
Yep.
to find the correct BOL or pack slip.
Yep.
And we do a good job at filing, but still, if you could just type in a purchase order number and pull it right up in LoadProof, and it gives you all the details that you need,
Yep.
I mean, that's the way to go. So
Great, 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 fantastic. I mean, I know, especially right in inbound, looks like it's going to equally make life so much better for
Yeah.
the people in the inbound side. Great, 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 great. I mean, approximately, right? Very high level. What was the dollar savings? Very, very high level, just to quantify it.
Yeah, I haven't taken the time to look into that, but I can tell you between efficiencies throughout the operation, our claims going down, and then, I mean, just not how many claims you deny, but how many claims that you can prove that we did our job correctly.
Yeah.
It's pretty substantial. I'm not able to put a number on it,
Yeah,
but it's
great.
pretty substantial.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, see, number is one thing, right? See, that is one thing, but also the reputation that matters as well, right? I mean, the brand name
Yeah.
itself, Aurora Parts, is especially when you guys are like one of the largest, parts suppliers for the trailer industry, within North America. That's a big, big brand promise to live up to, right? That is also there. That's a big deal, So good. No worries. So from an implementation perspective, right? How difficult was it to implement LoadProof, right? If you could please talk about from a technical, this is the challenge, right? I mean, technology is generally easy now. We have made it simple, connecting to Wi-Fi, devices and things like that, and we have also dumbed down, as much as possible, because this business is all about the more we ship, the more money you make, and more keep the throughput of the facility high and stuff like that, right? So if you could please talk about the technical challenges and then talk about the people challenges, right? That'll be great. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and the technical part was very easy and
Okay.
streamlined. Every time we had a question, the LoadProof team was able to obviously jump on a call and support and walk us through it
Yeah.
to help us be more self-efficient when it comes to changing how we want the screen to look, or what we want it to, how we want it to work. I mean, it's very flexible that way.
Correct.
But yeah, we had a ton of support with that. As far as the operations, obviously it's somewhat of a culture change,
Yep.
because you're creating accountability and integrity when you were doing this type of stuff.
Yep.
But it really didn't take long. I mean, the app on the phone or the tablet is so simple to use. I mean,
Yep.
you log in,
Yep.
you click on what you're going to work on, and then you take some pictures, and it asks you some questions, and you set up the questions on you. I mean, you set up everything how you want it to work.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's definitely flexible in that manner.
Yeah.
And the team, every time that they had feedback for management to help them make their job easier, we could take their feedback and make immediate changes, which was a huge benefit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So do you guys have dedicated tablets, or you have people using their own corporate issued phones, or you have both?
Yeah.
What has worked well for you guys?
I mean, we have both, right?
Okay.
So we have the tablets. As a manager, it's kind of nice that I can just have my phone on me.
Yeah.
And if there's something that needs a quick picture and to be uploaded, we could just document it really quick. It takes, a minute max.
Correct.
So rather than kind of making a mental note and moving on,
Yep.
and hoping you remember or whatnot,
Yep.
you can literally just capture it real quick, document whatever the issue is or whatever the potential issue is.
Yep.
You can document it and kind of move on throughout your day.
Yep.
And if it's in the program, that we will get it addressed.
Exactly. So you have both, the dedicated tablets. Is it like one tablet for 3-4 dock doors? Is that how you guys have done it? Dedicated tablets?
Yeah. We have 2 tablets for our outbound right now.
Okay.
We'll see what we're going to do with inbound. They might steal one of the tablets. It depends on our workload balance. So that's still up to discretion.
That's fine.
For our
Yeah,
team.
yeah. Take your time and then figure out. No worries. So you have dedicated tablets for outbound, 2 tablets as of today, and then on top of it, you've also you have your own corporate phone, and you can you've installed the app in your phone, and the supervisors they have installed the app in their phones as well. So it kind of helps having both options to be able to pull out your own device or the dedicated tablet. It helps anytime if you want to document something, you can do it pretty quickly.
Yep. Yeah. Anybody from supervisors to operations managers to myself to the general manager.
Yeah.
We all have it on our phone. So
great.
It's very quick and easy to go through if you ever need it.
Great.
And then obviously we have it on our computers as well. So if you need to do any investigation type stuff, you just log in, pull it up, and you're good to go. You can get all the info you need or all the info that was documented.
Exactly. See, now we have one more app that we've launched. You can, see today, right? You guys are going to the browser, going to a computer to look at the photos, right? You can do that from your mobile device as well.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, you can look up the photos from your mobile device. You don't have to always go to the computer, so that hopefully that makes your life even better. So is there anything else,
sure.
Is there anything else that you would like to, share about LoadProof that will make your life even better? Anything else that we can do for you,
I think, our outbound team is bought into it. They use it every day, all day long. And I'm excited for what's to come in the next few weeks
for the inbound,
few months, right? As we use it on inbound.
Yep.
And then obviously working with your team to ensure that the tool works exactly how, we can customize it for what we need.
Exactly.
So that's what's exciting. But I think we kind of covered everything for now.
So would you recommend LoadProof to someone else that is in a similar shoes like yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you feel like there's opportunity for your loads going out or coming into your facility, I would look into LoadProof for sure. There's a lot of good, and the fact that you can customize it to what you need, you can tailor fit it for your operation is a huge benefit. So.
Great. I mean, thank you very much, Corey. That's all the questions I have. I know, thank you for taking the time, and this is very useful for us, right? This is what gets us excited.
Yeah.
Improving the product and making life better for folks like yourself. Thank you very much for taking the time and sharing the feedback.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you. Have a great rest of the day.
Yep. You too.
Thank you. Bye.